Good morning and welcome along to this week's video. I look a bit homeless, I know, but I'm not. I promise, she hasn't kicked me out yet. Anyway, we have primered the MG on Friday, so we're now waiting for the paint to arrive. Should be here today or tomorrow, and then we'll get that based up, so at least we can start putting bits together, and then obviously it can go off for paint to have the panels and that sorted out. So I am gonna pull it off the ramp now. I need to put the throttle cable in and tighten up the brake servo from inside, because obviously it's been on the lift, so I've not been able to do that. So I'm going to get that done, and then theoretically it should be drivable if I need to move it in and out. I know there won't be any coolant in it, but just to get it in and out, it won't be a problem. So that's my first job this morning. So let's get it off the lift, get it on the floor, and we'll have a look. Okay, still looking homeless. The throttle cable's in. And the brake servo is bolted up, so in theory now we should be good to drive it if we need to. I've just been told the paint's coming today, so I should be able to get this based up today. There's no lacquer on it, but I should be able to get the colour on. Maybe when it goes in for paint you can just blast some lacquer over it. So yeah, so that's coming today, so we should have it in colour, which means we can start putting it back together, and then yeah, it'll just be a case of getting the outer panels painted. So right, I'm probably going to do a bit more on the roof of the Defender while I'm waiting for the paint to turn up. I can still get to a bit of it, so I'll try and do as much as I can. And then when the cage comes off to have the buck painted, I'll finish the rest of it up top and paint it. But even in bare aluminium, it's not going to stop me using it, even if it rains, because obviously that don't really rust. So I think, yeah, I'm just charging the secondary battery up at the minute so I can set the amps and stuff up, because they need a bit of a play. The battery was down to sort of 11.5 volts, so I thought it's best to put some in, and the rain's just started, as you can probably hear. So yeah, so I'm going to potter about, do a bit more on that, and then I'll go over there. I think I'm going to put the handbrake and that handle in now and get the doors open. I'll put the handbrake handle on, put the centre console back in, probably put the door cards on, and then yeah, just await the paint. And the paint's arrived. It's had a couple of coats, so yeah, it's body coloured now, so it makes it look a hell of a lot better. So tomorrow, once that's gone off overnight, I will come back and start fitting up the bits and pieces. We'll get the wings on, get the bonnet on, get the bumpers on, and the rad pack, etc. And hopefully it can go out of here and then go off for paint when he's ready. Do you ever question your life choices? I'm definitely having one of those moments right now. I'm still up a ladder. I'm still stripping paint off the roof of this. We're getting there. Obviously there's a few bits I can't really get to until the cage is out of the way, but we are getting there. Oh, I'm doing sort of an hour or two each day, and yeah, it's definitely testing me. It's one of those jobs I kind of wish I never started, but I'm just thinking it's going to look nice when it's done. Right, so it's the next morning, and I'm starting putting the coolers and that back in. I can't believe I missed it. Can't believe I missed it. I've got to cut that bit out there to allow the pipes to go through on the intercooler, both sides. So I've painted all this up, and I shouldn't have done yet. Never mind, live and learn. Right, so now I'm going to take the rad back out. Well, actually I'm going to hang the cooler on the posts. Then I'm going to draw around where it needs to be cut, so I cut as little out as possible. That's the plan anyway. So, right, I'm going to do that. Right, I cut out, the holes are mounted, so it is now in there. I'm just going to pop it back out now and spray up where I've cut, and then let that dry, and then we'll start fitting up. But yeah, I didn't have to cut anywhere near as much as I did out the green front panel. Just cut around the holes around the pipes, as you can see. So yeah, all good. Right, let's get that paint and have a cup of tea while that dries. Okay, got the front end on, got the intercooler in, bolted down. Got the bumper support bar bolted in. I've just got to work out where that wire runs to get to the other side, and then we can bolt some headlights in and then put the wings on. I have noticed that I don't have a bonnet release cable nor the handle inside, so I obviously missed that, so I've got to try and find one of those. So for the minute we won't put the bonnet on, but we can get the other bits on. So I'm going to stop for a cup of tea and a bit of lunch, and then we'll crack on. Well, we're getting there. Obviously nothing is lined up properly yet, it's just all bolted on, but everything works. We've got to adjust the bonnet slightly and that wing, but obviously until it's painted there's not much point because it's all got to come off again. But it's just making sure everything's in approximately the right place. So I have shut the bonnet because with no bonnet, with no bumper on, you can easily get to the tab. So there we go. So the next job is to chop the front bumper about and see if we can get that to fit. And under the bonnet, we're all piped up, air filters on, all the intake pipes are on, all the water pipes are on. So that part of it is good. We have fixed the power steering pipe as well. Mikey sorted the thread on that out. So I've got to get it back up on the lift and sort that out next. Well, at some point before anything else happens. But I am going to try and just get the front bumper to fit first. Okay, so I've got the modified orange grille, the one that I modified first time. And obviously I've got to modify this bumper to fit that. Now, as you can see, we have had to chop quite a bit out of the orange bit. So therefore we've got to do the same to the back of the bumper. But nothing, a few minutes with a flat disc on the grinder shouldn't sort. So I'm gonna have a cup of tea and then I'll crack on. Well, there she is. She is panelled up, not properly, because obviously there's no point in doing it exact because it needs to come off again to be painted. But at least now it can sit like that until it's ready for paint. I'm gonna get it up on the lift now though and sort that power steering pipe out. So let's lift it up and have a look. Okay, so up under here, we've got to get, don't know if we can focus, that pipe up on there. And then the other end goes on the rack here. So I've just got to reach up there and get that screwed on and get a spanner on it. And then bolt it to the housing. You can see there's a hanger there that the hose bolts onto up there. Okay, the pipe is bolted back on. It is bolted on the subframe there, and there's also a clip on the subframe up there. That's all done. So now I'm going to take the car back down and get to the top. Right, and then from here you can see there's one little 8mm bolt holding the bracket on, and then the pipe there with the yellow paint on it, that just needs nipping up. I've put these on earlier but just left them loose until everything else was tightened up down the bottom, so just got to tighten them up. Right, well, I've put coolant in. I filled up with water first, just to check for no leaks. Absolutely fine. Topped up with coolant. As soon as I started putting coolant in, we got a leak. Joy. So it is coming, well, actually we've got two. The bottom rad hose wasn't done up tight enough. I put a ratchet on it and tightened it up and that stopped. But the top one, I don't think has managed to stop, even though I've tightened it up some. So I think we're going to have to pull the bottom hose off and collect all the coolant and water out, and then check that rad. Obviously it's on this side. I'm wondering whether it got clouted in the accident and maybe it's cracked it a little bit. But it does seem to have almost stopped with me tightening up the hose as hard as I can. So I think we're gonna have to drain it and double check the hose and check the rad to make sure there's no holes in there in the connector. So right, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Right, well, she's running. I took the hoses off, took the hose off, drained the rad, and put some new hose clips on. I think where it'd been in storage, they'd slightly been bent and they weren't gripping properly. So I put some new ones on there, and we seem to have resolved our leaks. So I've just topped the power steering fluid up, so that's all good. We've got no leaks out there. I'm just going to leave it for a little while, run up to temperature. I've got no fan on this at the minute. It's there, but it's not plugged in. So I just need to keep an eye on the temperature. But I want to get it warm, see if I can get that thermostat open, and then just see if that coolant goes round anymore. But so far, so good. Well, I'm out in the Defender, as you can see. And I have good news. The cruise control works as it should. The only issue it does struggle with a little bit is up and down hills, because it's a GPS speedo and it might not be 100% bob on at that point. If you are going down a hill, obviously it goes faster and it lets off, and then when you need to come up a hill again, it accelerates, goes past where it was, lets off, and then it sort of settles itself out. But when you get to sort of 50 on a flat bit of motorway, click on cruise control, it sits there happily. Resume works. So yeah, I am pretty chuffed. Everything's good. It's quieter in here with all the sound deadening. The stereo works well. We've got lots of good music. Everything feels good at the moment. So I'm just gonna have an hour or so putting around, get it up to temperature properly, drive it around and see how we get on. But yeah, perfect. I'm well happy. Just that little GPS speedo has, you know, given me a speedo, given me a mileometer and given me cruise control. So probably the best 30 quid on the truck, I reckon. So yeah, what day is it? It's now Thursday. I haven't had the disco back yet that I put in to have the warranty work done. I've got to get that back and have it on the lift to do the rear. It's got some new mud flat brackets, I've got to put them on. I'm just waiting for it to be tracked, but apparently they're short staffed today, so it's just sitting there at a minute. So I don't know whether that will be back by the end of the week or whether this will be the end of the video. So if it is the end, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe and share, and then we'll hopefully get the green one in next week and we'll get on with that. The BRM van is back in the barn now, ready and waiting for paint. I drove it in there this morning. The brakes are a bit rubbish, so I've probably got to bleed them again. But yeah, that can stay in there until it's paint ready, and we'll get the green Defender in and get on with that. So have a lovely weekend. As I say, I'm not sure if there'll be anything after this, so I'll see you next week in another video. Thanks for watching. Cheers guys.